Hello, I have a quick question. Whenever you first played Elden Ring, did you think the game was too hard? Do you think the weapon the game gave you wasn't good enough? Well, this is what my challenge run is about. I just want to prove that the weapon that the game gives you, they give you every chance they want to have you succeed. I want to prove that FromSoft is just over generous of what they give you to beat bosses with. I think that they need to make it harder for you to get good weapons. So on this run in specific, this is my first ever challenge run I did in the game, and I actually messed up in like the first hour of me playing. I went through all of Elden Ring with only this first sword of the game. Now I have very specific and strict rules for this run. I am not allowed to use armor. I am not allowed to use items and consumables. I am not allowed to use summons. I am not allowed to use talismans. That's a big one because most challenge runners let you themselves use talismans at least for their build. But I wanted to beat the game with skill alone. Now here's where I messed up. I used armor on Margit. I also used the NPC summon, but that's a rule that I flexed around some bosses to make the game a little bit more bearable and me not lose my actual mind on some of these fights. I did it for two other fights in the game. I did it for Margit, I did it for Radahn, and the last fight I did it for was the Godskins. Now I could have beat Radahn with skill alone. It was possible. I had got him low a few times. I had spent around 3 hours fighting him, and that's not even close to the amount of time I spent on fucking Melania. But at the time, I just had to go do something IRL, and I just wanted to finish it up so I can get the recording out. So I just flexed the rules a little bit for content's sake and my actual sanity to not go mentally insane. But if you think that's cheating, that's on me. That's my bad. I'm sorry. But here's the reason why I used armor on Margit. He's the only boss in the game I swear I used armor on. I'll show you the recordings, all the other ones. But I used armor on him because originally the run was supposed to be a weathered straight sword run. So on him alone, I stretched the rules and I was going to do the weathered straight sword. But I messed up. Whenever I went to go equip the weathered straight sword, and I'll show it in a bit when I did it, the game didn't equip it. I don't know why. I think what happened was I got hit by an enemy and it just didn't equip because I got hit. But it didn't equip it. I didn't find this out until after I'd already finished the run. So I decided to just it was 40 hours of my life I wasn't going to get back. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to put it back. I'm going to change the run and I'm going to exempt the Margit fight because my run. It's my rules. I'm allowed to do that. I'm sorry I messed up. I'm going to do another challenge run, probably where I do something even harder than this because I hate my life. I hate myself, apparently. So that's that. Those are the rules. Also, a requirement for me being in the game is I have to get not all 7 great runes because Rykard with this specific requirements I think is impossible. I didn't do too much research because at the time I can't think of any way you can beat Rykard with only a sword besides tanking the damage, which I think is a little insane, and I don't think that's possible. Of just tanking the damage and killing him with my sword. I've seen people tank his damage, but they have talismans and armor that reduce the amount of damage fire does, which I'm not allowed to use talismans because I wanted to beat the game with only skill. But rules are rules. Anyways, enjoy the video. Now here he is, the man himself, the first issue of the run that I messed up. I have armor on. I know I'm not supposed to have that. But anyways, since I have armor on, this should be pretty easy, right? Nah, nope. This guy is still a bitch and a half. The entire reason I'm doing this run is to get better at the game and prove that I can beat the game with skill alone. That I never said that I had skill at the game. You'll see through the game, I kind of I 100% in the game, right? I 100% did. I beat every boss, every achievement boss. I beat all 7 great runes. I beat Melania. That means I'm good at the game, right? Maybe. Yeah, but this guy was kind of a bitch and a half to fight. He has a lot of fast moves. I died right there, you know. You see that? I'm meh. He has a lot of fast moves. Yeah. He's harder than Godric. I swear. Why is he harder than Godric? Why do they make a harder boss than the first Great Rune guy? That's dumb. Yeah, I summoned the wizard guy to help. Don't judge me. This was supposed to be Wither Trace Sword Run. I just wanted to get past Margit. I'm not gonna go on too much of a ramble. Margit. Everybody knows Margit, right? If you're watching this video, you know who Margit is and you know why he's difficult. His moveset's weird. I feel you have to relearn how to fight him every time. And Margit is even harder because he's just Margit. If you don't know Margit, it's Margit. They're the same person. He's guarding the first Great Rune guy before trying to get harder, like stronger, which I will never get stronger in this run. I have a sword and no armor most of the time. But anyways, I do eventually beat Margit, and I get back. I go to Godric. I go to the Castle Storm. You know, not that hard of a boss fight. It took me a few tries. You know, it's not that bad though. This is my run where I beat Margit. This is my victory run. I just wanted to show you guys of how I beat him, what I did to beat him. If you're ever stuck on a boss, I want to put all the bosses and how I beat him in this video. There are a few bosses that I did lose the footage of, and I'll explain that later whenever I find them. I don't know how I lost. I think I ran out of room on my hard drive, and I already had beaten the boss, and I can't re-record it. Unless I wanted to be cheating you guys and say, oh, this is how I beat it. No, I had already beaten the boss, and I lost that footage, my bad. Did not lose Margit's footage though. Yeah, here, look at this shit. I dodge, I get hit by like the most predictable attack ever. But then you can see how I slowly learned the boss's moveset. And I want to show you guys me improving on every boss I fight to see like the game is possible to beat without getting good at the game. You just have to learn the moveset of the boss and how to fight them. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys watch the rest of the fight and see how I beat Margit. Anyways, yeah, that was the Margit fight. Not too bad. You notice that at the end there, I was trying to get a stagger off, but I just couldn't get it off. Yeah, I do my little victory dance like I always do. But I learned through that fight that the art of war for this weapon's kind of broken. It's kind of insane. You stagger so many enemies so easily with that art of war. And you'll notice throughout the run, I use that so much. Yeah, I allocate my points. You see prove that I level up. I level up a lot in this. I do not want to get vigor checked with no armor, so I pump vigor like a madman. But yeah, Margit's not that bad. He has a lot of predictable moves. He's pretty fast for a beginner player, but a veteran like myself, he only took a few tries. Totally didn't take me an hour to beat that boss. Anyways, yeah, let me carry on with what I'm gonna show you. Stormvale Castle. Whenever you first start this game, this is one of the coolest places in the game. You think, oh, this is going to be so cool, and you go talk to that guy and he gives you two choices. You can either sneak through it, or you can run through like an absolute madman. I just got shot in the face. And you'll see me here doing the fast strat. I've beaten the game several times now, and I don't really, in this run, all I want to do is go get the sword and start my run, but you know how that works out. And I just run through it because I know what to do and I know how to get through it without really taking too much damage. But I got shot because I suck at the game. And yeah, I just run through it like a madman. It's not that bad. Honestly, it's way easier than the stealthy way. It's way faster. It's a lot less time consuming, and it's not even that hard. Yeah, if you have low vigor, you get vigor checked, but if you just know where to dodge and how to dodge the attacks, which I'm totally succeeding at, it takes a few tries, but it's not that hard to do it. It's probably one of the funnest part of the games, in my opinion. Just running through Stormvale Castle, going to kick Godric's ass. And this is the moment that my life goes wrong. You see me clearing out the enemies where the Weather Straight Sword usually is, and then I kill this guy. He drops the item. I kill that guy, and then I go to pick up the item. There, boom, Weather Straight Sword. But you notice how I stand there for a minute because I'm like, oh, thank God I found it. I can do my run, go my inventory, go to equip it, and pause right there. You see me equip it. I look like I equipped it, but it's not it. That's not the Weather Straight Sword. My life is ruined. My life sucks, bro. I'm distraught. I'm sad. My hard work. I thought I was so good at the game when I beat it, but then I'm like, oh my God, it's not the Weather Straight Sword. That's just the regular sword of the game. If y'all don't know, the Weather Straight Sword is considered the worst weapon in the game. Not the worst weapon, but it's considered the worst straight sword of the game. It's not even that bad. It's not that bad. It's considered the worst straight sword. So I thought I was all that when I did it, but I'm not. I'm just some bum who posed. I'm a poser. Man, I'm a poser. Do I even really have to say anything to this guy? He's not that hard. He's considered the weakest of the rune bearers. He's so predictable when he does. The only reason I died in this fight a few times is because whenever you stand too close and he does his little wind ability, you get caught in it. So you have to like preemptively dodge, and I just didn't do that. And sometimes I just got hit for no reason. But he's not that bad of a boss. He's such a pushover. He's not. You beat him and you're like, huh, this game's gonna be easy, and then you get skill checked by Renal and Radon. Yeah, I died to that attack. I suck at dodging. This is the entire reason why I'm doing this run is so I can get better at dodging. Anyways, I'll show you the victory one, how I beat him and everything, and I'll explain it when it comes. So yeah, as you saw, it wasn't that bad of a fight once I had just relearned his moveset and how to dodge him. He has a lot of big openings. First phase, what I like to do is I like to bait his big attacks and his ground pound and his wind attacks. They're all super easy to dodge and super easy to punish. And then in second phase, it's like even easier. He has so many phases you can just hit him in. His big flamethrower one isn't hard to dodge and just punish with your big L2 R2 stagger move. You get like 3 of those in, you stagger him, and you just get a bunch of damage in. And then his ground pound, he adds 1 more ground pound. Oh, that's so hard to dodge. No, Godric is an actual pushover, and I love it. It's so funny that they even made him a pushover in the lore. That's amazing to me. Anyways, yeah, Godric, first rune, down. I got 5 more to go. Shit sounds easy, right? You know, it's not that bad. Yeah. Next thing for me to do was to go get the Miner's Bell Bearing out of the caverns in Lunaria. This fight is, if you have a slash type weapon, it's at the start of it's pretty hard because they resist a lot of your slash damage. But if you didn't know, Crystallarians, eventually after you do enough damage to them, they will crack and slash will do a lot more damage to them. So that was my goal, was just do enough stagger and poise damage, which, as you know, with my weapon, not too hard. It's pretty easy. Once I get that, I can get my sword up to like +9 or something like that. And I can't get the next one till I think at Altus Plateau. And then the third one's in the Mountains of the Giants. Gonna be a minute till I get there. My next goal was to get to the academy, so I had to go over to this dragon den and go grab this key to the academy over here on the ground. While I was here, I was like, I wonder how hard this dragon is. And I'm like, turns out fighting a dragon when you don't have any armor and you get one shot by its fire attack, not a good idea. I got my shit stomped, and it wasn't even a close fight. In fact, I'm not even going to show you when I die because I just take my word for it, and not a good time. Don't try this if you try this run. And if anything, just skip him. Maybe come back later when you're stronger and do a lot more damage. Right now, some of the little damage I'm doing, it's actually crazy how small I'm doing. God, that's insane how little damage I do. This sword's not that. No, actually, it's not the sword. It's just I'm bad. It's all skill. It's not the weapon. It's the user. You know. Just get good. Am I right? Just don't get hit and do no damage. It's not that hard. Anyways, once I was done getting my butt handed me by that glorified lizard, never even killed him by the way, I just decided to stop. It was time for me to fight the Wolf of Radagon. One of the hardest hitting but lowest health pool enemies in the game. Kinda sucks for me, so that's why I wanted to get the bell bearing so that way I could actually do a decent amount of damage to this guy. So since I do a lot of damage, it's not that bad, but I do get my butt kicked for a little bit trying to kill him. But eventually I do fight him and I do win. It's not that hard with this guy. His moveset is self-explanatory. You just dodge left, right, sometimes away from these spells that he's shooting at you. He'll fire every now and again a Kamehameha. And he'll do regular bites against you. Not that bad of a fight. I just kind of suck, and that's why I died. Anyways, I'll show you the run where I do succeed, and then we'll continue on from there. So there you have it, me fighting the Wolf of Radagon, and I didn't master his moveset, but I did. A lot of his moves are easy to dodge, or well, he shows that he's going to do a lot of moves, and it's pretty easy to see when he's going to do it. So after that, next I gotta go do is fight Renala and kick her butt. Not gonna be that hard. Renala's not that bad of a boss. It's gonna take a few tries, of course, but you know, all bosses take a few tries. Renala is your easy two-phase fight. First phase is just a puzzle boss, really weird to fight. 3 of the kids, break their bubble. You don't actually have to kill them to break the bubble, you just have to hit them at least once. And some of them have flamethrowers, and the other ones just throw books at you. And once you break 3, she'll fall from the ceiling and you go fight her. I can't one-phase this boss. I think I two-phased her. 2 or 3-phased at least. And it's kind of an easy boss. Once you get the second phase, it does get harder. She gets a bunch of spells and she can summon stuff once you get far enough. But I'm gonna stop talking now and show you the succeeding try, because that's all a lot of people care about, and I understand that. So yeah, there's Renala. She's a pretty easy boss. If you're having trouble with her, some tips I have is phase 1, just as fast as you can kill the girls, because you can kill them before she ever even has a chance to attack you, and just pretty easily deal with the problem at hand. Phase 2 is a lot harder. She'll always start off with that big Kamehameha attack. What you want to do is run up right next to her, get a few hits in if you can, and then just like what I did was I baited a lot of spells, ran and hit her, ran away from spells, baited more spells, ran in. It took a long time to do it. You just saw it, so I'm not going to explain it too much. But once she gets her summons in, just pray to God you don't die. What I did, I ran for it. That's all I did. Was when dragon came up, dodged a fire, hit her a few times, dodged the dragon coming down, the fast blade guy. I don't even know what to start with him because he just chases you for forever. And the ogre, the big guy, just not fun. Not a fun fight, but it's pretty easy once you get used to it though. And her staff spin is so annoying sometimes. It just hits you out of nowhere. But once I beat her, I think I want to go try Radon after that one. Let me go see. For Sparta! Yeah. I did try Radon right after killing Renala. And the run up to Radon is such like a gamble if you die or not. I don't understand how you're supposed to dodge. You see, I'm not getting hit right now, right? But half the time, those arrows he fires at you hits you. So it's just a complete gamble if he hits you or not. And then he's just so mobile on his horse, and his attacks are... I just don't understand them half the time. It's like the fire giant, right? The reason why the fire giant's annoying is because he's so fast and mobile with his rolls, and half the time he gets caught in terrain and hits you for bullshit. Like that attack, if you're on your horse, there's no way you can dodge that. You just can't. So they don't expect you to fight this guy one-on-one. You're supposed to summon the NPC guys to fight him. A lot of people don't because in their challenge runs they consider that cheating. But since I'm not using talismans and such like that, I just allowed it to make my life a little bit easier because Radon's not that big of a boss anyways. I mean, I say that, but then he's massive and he's a huge guy in the lore. And I love Radon's lore. Radon is amazing. But in challenge runs, Radon's like a monster, I swear. He's so cool. But I don't stay here. I give it a few shots here. And then I come back later in the run and actually fight Radon. So I'll cover that whenever I do come back and eventually fight him. I don't fight Radon. I don't beat Radon right now. I get my ass handed to me for like a few hours and I just call it. I'm like, I'm done. I'm gonna go fight some other bosses. I'm not gonna beat Radon right now. This is not gonna happen. This fucker, this guy, this monster of a being took me so long to beat. And it's just because I'm bad. I mean, yeah, I do get skill issued a lot, and I do get vigor checked a lot, and I end up actually going to go grind some runes using the boulder technique over in Kaled since I can't do any other like rune grinding method because I'm only allowed to use this sword. So I can't do the burn method, I can't do those guys. So I end up taking forever to beat this dude. Like, I think it was around 4 hours total time, which makes this next part even sadder. I don't actually have the footage of me beating him. My footage got corrupted because I ran out of space on my hard drive and I didn't even realize. I should have checked, I didn't. So I don't even have me beating this guy. The most I can tell you of how to beat him is, a lot of people say on his shield side, which I did do that strat, where as often as you can, you see on the side where his shield is. But it's just learning his moveset and what his tactics and what he ends up doing a lot. And going into this fight, and if you're doing this run and you're doing no talismans, expect to die a lot. This run took me forever to do, and I can safely tell you by the end of it, I was so much better at the game from just trying and trying for hours upon hours. Once you beat the tree sentinel and you get to the capital and you run through the capital, there's one boss that is, in my opinion, the easiest boss in this run besides like Godric. I guess the easiest non-great rune holder boss. This guy, he gives you all the information on his moves physically possible for you to just beat him. Like, his windups are so long and they're so easy to dodge, especially for like what I had to learn to beat the Dragonic Tree Sentinel. I got skill checked so hard in that fight. I'm so mad I don't have the footage for that fight. It's so easy to read his moves, and I just got shit stopped. I mean, that's any telltale how bad I am at this game. But it just takes me a few tries and I eventually kick his butt. I mean, all I could tell you for tips on this boss are get killed a few times, learn his moveset, and then dodge. I mean, you can jump over his stomp attacks and then bait out his big throws so you get a few hits in. Pretty easy boss. See, as you saw there, that boss was completely just read his movements and dodge. Maybe get hit once or twice, but he doesn't do enough damage to one-shot you, even with no armor on and no talismans. So it's a pretty easy boss. I do have a lot of vigor and all that. I had grinded a little bit for the tree sentinel, but not like too much where I'm like OP and I can do a billion damage. You saw how much damage I was doing. I barely did anything to that man. Usually by the time I get here, I delete him in like seconds. So I never really had to learn his moveset. But even then, it didn't take me long to learn his moveset, and he wasn't that bad of a boss. But after that, I have to run up to the Queen's Bedchamber, run past the Black Knife guy, get the Side of Grace, and go see how Morgott is. That's gonna be fun. Here he is, the man himself, Morgott. I think I love this fight now. This fight is just a poetic example of how to get good at the game. I feel like every boss you could have gone through this game so far with like a minor bit of skill, you can kind of cheese Radahn with the NPC summons. Renala isn't that bad of a fight, especially if you have summons. Like you can just have the summons take most of the damage. Like look at that. Yeah, of course you can summon Melina for this fight, but why would you do that when you can just learn his moveset and get good at the game? I got demolished for like 5 hours straight by this man alone. This fight is such a poetic get good moment. And you could of course choose him with summons and Melina, but I don't think that's not fun. Like I allowed NPC summons for some fights in the game, but those fights I wasn't even planning on really trying to do. Like Margit, I wasn't really gonna do. Radahn is just insane without summons, especially early game, which is when I fought him. And then Godskin Duo, of course, everybody knows why Godskin Duo doesn't count as a real fight. That fight's actually stupid. They just started remaking an old boss and making it just stupid at how difficult it is. But this fight is really just, bro, I started getting better at the game because I got pooped on so hard by this man. I'll let you see the final battle when I finally managed to beat him. It was such a validating moment. I'm like, oh my god, I actually did it. Dude, that fight always gets me so excited and happy. Because if you noticed, I had no heals left at the very end. And I think I should have died from that one hit. I think God just said, nope, not today. But that was such a good fight. It's such like a perfect example of somebody getting better at the game. Because that fight had me stumped for hours. I mean, for hours. I kept hammering into it till I finally got it. And I was so happy when I finally did. So I'm gonna do my little dance after I did it. It was such a good dance. It was such a good fight. Morgat is one of my favorite fights in the game now because of that one fight. Literally both at 1 HP and he decides to go for a one-shot move and then I dodged it and I got him. It was such a good fight. But after beating Morgat, Melina told me to go to the Mountains of the Giants and I said, okay, but what if? Once I beat Morgat, I decided to go over and give Radon another try. I don't really have anything to say about Radon because I'm doing the regular strat of just running and summoning all the people and then running on my horse and waiting for them to do damage and me just running in every now and again to hit him and do a bit more damage. It's not really too exciting of a fight. Only reason I'm coming to do this right now because I have 3 out of the 6 great runes I need to beat the game, and the last 2 are pretty annoying to do. They're both Millennia and Moog, and I thought this would be the easiest of the 3 to do. And I didn't want to do them till I didn't want to do them after I got a bunch of upgrades for my weapon, and it'd be an insanely easy fight of me just running around and doing damage to him because I already do a decent bit of damage. Like he has some of the largest health in the game, and I do that much damage to him. It wouldn't be that fun of a fight if I just decided to make myself OP. So I decided just to do the summon strat and run around and hit him. Yeah, so I'll let you watch this fight. It's not that exciting of a fight. If you want to skip it, you can. It's a pretty easy fight. I have nothing really to say about the fire giant fight other than I hate it and I really wish it didn't exist. I don't really mean that, but you know what I mean. I did, however, find a lot of cool tricks in the fight to make it a little bit more bearable, like to roll through the snow other than jumping over it, because I feel like most of the time I'd get hit by the snow when I try to jump over it, so I found that dodging through it's actually a lot easier and a lot more what's it called, successful on every attempt. I never actually got hit by it once I started rolling through it, but the fire giant fight is a lot. It's a lot to handle, especially second phase with all the rolling and stuff. But I did find out that it did not take a lot of hits for him to get staggered by my sword, which is really surprising to me. Which makes me think this is actually kind of a valid strategy for the fire giant using this weapon, or at least this Ash of War against him, because he got staggered so much, as you'll see through the fight. But I'll let you watch the fight now and let me know what you think. I think it was a pretty cool fight. I mean, the fire giant's a pretty cool boss. I just hate its arena. If they fix the arena, it'd be a lot funner boss in my opinion. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't too bad of a boss. It just took me a pretty long time to do it because I got one shot by most of his moves, and if he got caught on any terrain and hit me because of it, I died. So it's pretty annoying to have to deal with him. But anyways, after I beat that boss, I sacrificed my only friend in the world and got sent to Ohio to go fight some weird twins or something. I don't know.
You shall burn. Burn for the sake of the new Lord.
Hey, you have a little something right there.
Guiding me here. The one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death.
Jeez, I'm sorry. I'll take back what I said. Oh my god.
Goodbye.
I'm a firm believer that with no summons, no sleep pots, and no NPC summon, this fight is probably harder than Melania. I don't think it's possible even with my build. I mean, maybe if you're just that good at the game, but I don't know of anybody who's ever beaten this with no talismans, no armor, and the beginning sort of the game. That's not even fully upgraded. It's plus 18 right now. I need the bell bearing that they have to make it plus 24, and then I still need an ancient dragon stone to make it plus 25. So I just don't think it's even possible. I had to resort to using the NPC summon that I'll put in, but once I used him, I got it second try. It wasn't that hard. I did get really good at this fight though, throughout like the many hours I put into it trying to beat it with no armor and no talismans. But it's just so random. It's RNG based what you can do and what you can't do. Yeah, like I said, it's not that bad of a fight if you use the NPC summon. I did almost die though on that attempt because I didn't really play it that good. I wish I did play it better for the victory attempt, but a win's a win, right? I kind of relied on the NPC there. That fight is so annoying to do solo. It's not a fun fight in general. But now that I beat the Godskin, before I fight Malekith, I want to get the last two Great Runes. That way I can just do a boss run on the last bit of it. So my plan now is to go get the two secret medallions, the one from Lunaria, the last run from Neil, the boss fight. And I'll fast forward to the Neil boss fight for you guys. Neil can be one of the harder enemies in the game for newcomers. I found that he was pretty difficult for me to learn, and there's a pretty big learning curve. This is around the part of the challenge where I felt like I've truly proven myself and my skill. I started out as a noob, and I've slowly grown to learn how to fight with no armor and no talismans. I was pretty happy with it, but I wanted to go all the way. I wanted to finish the game. And how you have to do that is you have to fight Neil to get the medallion to be able to go to the Halleck Tree and fight Melania. So this is probably one of the harder boss fights to beat to get there, but once I figured it out and I figured out the way to fight all of them, it wasn't that bad. It's annoying that it's a gank fight, but the two other enemies aren't that bad. And once you beat them, he goes to phase 2 and you have to fight phase 2. Phase 2 has a pretty decent amount of openings. There's this hook move like that right there. You can dodge pretty easily, and there's a few others that you'll see that you can dodge. But I'll let you watch it. Another learning curve, like there is for every boss in this game. That took me a little while to actually figure him out, but once I did figure him out, he wasn't that bad. I just had to time my dodges correctly and not get hit by a one-shot move, which he has a few for me at least, because I am quite squishy like I am right now. Loretta was a pain in my butt, dude. Like, I hate this boss now. Usually I don't have that much problem with the real Loretta. Ghost Loretta's even easier for me, but it's just learning her fast attacking moves, and every move she does against me does so much damage because of where I am. The Hollow Tree area is such a high level area. It's insane. I get that it's a secret area of the game and she's technically a secret boss, but I've beaten her so many times to 100% the game. It's crazy that I took me that many attempts to beat her. But I did finally beat her. I don't even have any really tips to just watch the video, do what I do, I guess, but I don't really remember the fight. I suppressed it after what I had to go through to beat her. She's not even the worst of it yet. I yet to even talk about Gideon and his fucking fiasco. Bro, Horaloo wasn't even as hard as this boss. Like, fucking, I hate this person so much. I hate Loretta now. Usually I like Loretta because she's easy, because I do so much damage to her, but I just don't do nearly as much damage to her as she does to me, and it honestly shows in this fight and in Millennia. I don't even know what to say, really. I mean, the Millennia boss fight, hands down, my favorite boss fight in this game. I know I said about Margit, but they're both just so similar to me. I mean, it's a battle of pure skill and beauty. And this took me around 6 hours to finally beat her with this build of no talismans and no armor in this sword. I'm slightly going insane running into walls fighting this lady, but I just love it. It's so fun. Especially when you consistently start getting the second phase time and time again and getting lower and lower in her health bar. It's so good to see yourself slowly improve and learn her moveset and see what you can and cannot do. It's such a good boss fight. I love it. I'll let you watch it, but it's probably my best. It's such a good boss fight. before somebody gets mad at me, I know, I used the preserving thing. I mean, what else do you want me to do? If I didn't, I was gonna lose, and I was out of heals, and honestly, I was 6 hours in at this point, and it came by reflex, which is why I used it. But I was just so satisfied after that fight. I didn't even realize. I was like, oh dang, I don't think I was supposed to do that. I don't think anywhere in my rules it says I couldn't use items like that in fights, but if somebody gets mad at me, I'm sorry. I should have known. It's my bad. Moog is a pretty hard boss solely because his arena, not his arena, but like his entire moveset just makes the arena an actual living hell. It's just so annoying to keep up with the fire, and then he has guaranteed damage. I'm not even mad about the guaranteed damage, it's not that bad, I have heals. But it's just, there's so much fire everywhere, it's just constant blood loss. I'm so happy they nerfed blood loss. But if it was pre-blood loss nerf and I had to do this with no armor, I don't think it'd be possible, honestly. It'd be so hurt, it'd be so hard. But I fought him for so long. I like mastered his phase 1, and his phase 2 was the problem I kept having because the fire lasted longer, it did more damage. Malekith was a pretty difficult boss to learn and fight, with its fast movements and hard-hitting attacks. It just getting to the second phase alone took me forever. But once I mastered the first phase and was able to get it constantly and start learning the second phase, it still took me about 4 hours to beat him. Honestly, if Melania didn't have her flowing move thing, he'd be the hardest boss in the game, in my opinion. It just took forever to learn him and finally beat him. He just has so much health. He hits like a truck, and he's so fast compared to other bosses. But I'll let you watch me get just absolutely destroy him and kind of get destroyed in first phase. My God, okay, don't remember that. But enjoy watching me just shit on Malekith. The amount of time I put into Gideon on this attempt, on this run, is just kind of embarrassing. He's kind of seen as a really easy boss, especially if you can kill him on the first attempt by clowning on him. But with my no armor and talismans and just nothing on magic defense and my low damage comparatively to what he does to me, made this run on Gideon just so difficult for me. It was kind of insane. But you know, it's just doesn't compare to how much time I put into Melania. So I wouldn't say he's an easy boss. He's kind of a mid boss. He's just so annoying with how much he spams spells. I hate that in his coding. Literally in his coding, it says that he can just keep casting spells on forever if he felt like it. But luckily, he doesn't do that, and it just took a little bit of time, and I eventually got him. So please enjoy. Godfrey, the First Elden Lord, and Horalu are probably some of the best bosses made in the game, in my opinion. Just how aggressive they are and how much of a learning curve both of them have, and such vastly different fighting styles they have are insane. I just think Godfrey has probably some of the best lore in the game, besides like Melania and them. But Godfrey is such like an underrated character, basically because he's not the heart of a fight. It's just you have to learn two different movesets for the same boss, and I think that's really cool. Because sometimes bosses just have the same moveset, just kicked up a little bit. He has almost a completely different one for second phase, which makes a lot of first attempts at the game so fun. And it sucks I can't like replay the game, like have a first experience. Because Godfrey was such a cool fight the first time I remember fighting him. But I'll let you watch me like kick his ass a little bit, and then we'll get on to the last boss of the game. Radagon and Elden Beast are probably two of the best bosses I've ever found in a game, and I'm just really happy that they were the bosses that were the final bosses of Elden Ring. Radagon took me forever to learn, and then Elden Beast isn't really that hard of a boss. I could beat him third time of me getting to Elden Beast, and it just took a few hours for me to learn Radagon and his bullshit of a moveset, of him just being able to say, nah, the ground is mine now and you're not safe to be there. It's just, he doesn't do a lot of damage. It's just the fact that I'm so squishy that made that such a hard boss fight for me. I mean, if I make one wrong step, I'm kind of just dead. But I'm just so happy that I managed to actually like get this far in the game and be able to finally beat them too, and just prove that Elden Ring can be beaten without Talisman's armor and with the same sword throughout the entire game. I mean, you could say that there were some points in the run where I cheated using items that weren't them, but I only did that one time, and that was with Melania, and I feel like it was justified. I mean, it's technically not a weapon and not a talisman, not a piece of armor, so I don't think I really broke the rules there. It's just it's kind of like the Anestus flask. It's a consumable, and I never said I couldn't use those. And then I did cheat with Margit though, and yeah, I'm kind of sad about that. I might just run through it on my own time, see if I can be Margit with just that sword and nothing else. And then there were the NPC summons. Those two, you could say, were technically cheating because there are other sources of damage, but honestly, the Godskin duo I don't think is possible with this build. I mean, it's probably possible. I can't say that anything's possible, but I'm personally just not good enough to do it. I will admit that I'm not good enough at the game to beat those two with just the sword alone. But every other main boss in the game, I beat 6 out of the 7 shard bearers because right guard's actually just impossible. And then I killed a god using it, and then I killed Radagon. And I'm so happy that I managed to do it. I mean, it took me so long. I think I had a total of like 53 in-game hours of just boss attempts, and that alone just shows my dedication of trying to do this. And then I'm just so happy that I managed to do it. I've done no armor runs before, but I've never done a shitty weapon run, and I'm just happy I managed to do it. I mean, it shows my skill like throughout the beginning and the end. If you look at it, it shows that I improved, and that alone, I'm just happy about that. People think people do challenge runs to show that they can do it. I think just trying to improve in the game alone is a reason to do a challenge run, and I'm just happy that I managed to do it. But I'll let you finish watching the video. Thank you for watching, and if you happen to make it this far and enjoy the content, you can subscribe if you want. You don't have to. I mean, I'm not gonna beg for you. I'm not gonna beg you, but you know, it's just free. And, you know, I like to. It helps. You know, it's free. Anyways, I hope you have a good day. See ya.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall an age of fracture.